LEDs, cool. So these are the addressable LEDs that you can use in cleanflight. I got the 1 meter, I think 60 to 1 meter, so that just determines how far they're spaced apart. And there's like 30 per meter, and then there's like 100 and something per meter, 114 or 140. And obviously those are really closely spaced together, which is fine, but it makes it kind of difficult to snip. Right, you have to cut right down the middle of these three copper or whatever copper connectors, so that you can connect on one side and then connect on the other side. Your wires, connectors, servos, cables, or whatever. So this is like $13 after shipping, and then the other one, the 100 and something is I guess you get more lights for, per meter, but it's like 3 times the price. So and then this turned out pretty good in terms of what I wanted in the spacing. So I got the ones with this waterproof casing, but I ended up just cutting it off and then taking it out of there because this is made out of some kind of silicone material. It doesn't stick very well. The welder glue that I was using to attach it to the quad would just slide off, so I ended up not using it. What I did though, because I was worried about shorting these at some point, was I did cover the connectors on the back that I wasn't using. I covered them with welder glue, just a thin coat to protect it from shorts. So there's a couple things you got to know about this. Obviously, everything you'll find out if you haven't seen other setup videos of Dominic, setting his up. There's a direction, there's an in, and you'll see the arrows on here. There's an in direction and an out direction. You got your ground, your 5-volt, and then your data in and out. So you got to do that in the right order. So the two things you got to know. One is it's in series. So if you want to put a whole bunch of these lights and you want to control them and configure them in cleanflight, you have to have one end going in to your section, the other end coming out, and then that's got to go into another section and another section coming out. So you have to go you can't just take your power wire and signal wire and then split it into a Y. Actually, you could. If I think you could. I haven't tried it, but if you're going to do your lights perfectly symmetrical, mirrored from one side to the other or front and back, then you could probably do that. And then by giving it a single address at the 0.0 being the first light, if you had a Y, it would do the same for both. I think that's how it would work. So, and I think on the next one I'm going to try it that way, because that'll save me a little bit of wiring, because if you do it in series, what happens is, so you got this, let me change this a little brighter. Okay, so your signal wire, your power wire, and that's a little glue there, it's holding it in place. Get a little closer here. There we go. So you got the wire coming out, goes all the way to the end of the arm, right, into this set of lights, and then this set of lights has a out right there, you can see it, and then goes into the right side set of lights right there, and then has to go out here, and this is where it terminates. Nothing comes out of this one. So that's in series. Focus. So if I did it that's the way I did it, but if I did it the other way, you could have that wire, instead of having this really long wire come out the left side of your arm, have it come down the middle, split off into a Y, but then that means these are both the 0 points, and then these are numbered the same. So in other words, you only have 4 lights, but they would be doing the same thing, because the way I have it right now is I have 8 lights in my setup, in my LED strip setup in cleanflight, but then I addressed it as 0, 1, 2, 3 all the way through 7. And then the thing is, I did it symmetrical anyway, so the right 2 and the left 2 do the same thing, the right 2 middle and the left 2 middle do the same thing. So that's one of the things. The second one is the voltage. Ooh, this took me a little while to figure out. So you can't see it here. You know what? I'll edit this and insert the voltage thing I use. So I have a power distribution board in there that happens to have, and the first time I'm trying this, because wasn't sure if I trusted it to be clean and noise free. But it has a 12 volt out and a 5 volt out, and they're both adjustable. Oh man, what a pain. So they've got these little knobs on there, these pots, and if you just barely touch it, it'll change like half a volt. So with these LEDs, they don't like anything more than 4.7 volts, and there's a formula on the cleanflight wiki. The signal voltage has to be a certain difference from the power voltage, and it's the formula I think is 3.3 divided by 0.7, and that gives you like 4.71. So I set, using that pot, I set mine to 4.65 or something, and that's as close as I could get it. If I tried to go for 4.7, I'd be there all day, because you just barely touch it and it jumps too much. So I've got it at 4.65. Before I had it at over 5 volts. I had it at 5.3, and the lights would turn on white, they wouldn't change. Nothing was happening because of that voltage difference. It's not tolerant to large voltage differences, so it's got to be 4.7 or less, and then all of a sudden it started working. So let me light this up. Alright, I got my DX9. My quad is here, my Flip 260 on 4-cell. I'm running a 4-cell with the 2300 kV Cobra motors and 6x3 props, and Afro 20 amp slim ESCs flashed with BL Heli and one shot. So here's a 3-cell. This is just for the lights. Usually I run 4-cell, so.
Hold mode.
Yep. Throttle hold just to be safe. Okay, that's wow, that's bright. So let's try to get that so we can actually see the colors. There we go. So now this is this is pretty cool. So let's see. I'm gonna arm it. I got throttle hold so the props won't spin up. Just as, and I'll just do this once. And there you go. So that's armed. Disarmed. And while armed, if you increase throttle, it'll change colors. But even while disarmed, if you increase throttle,
Normal mode.
it changes colors. That's pretty wild. So I've also got it set to warning, so I'm assuming at low battery they'll do something else, all 4 of them. So you can overlap the function, so you can assign more than one function. So you can say I want this set of lights to be throttle indicator and warning. So that's what I did for the inner 4, and in the outer 4 I did indicator and warning. So they won't show the arm status, but indicator is a flight indicator. So check this out. Go left a little bit, slowly flashes. Go left a little farther, flashes more. Go left all the way, flashes really fast. That's cool.
Hold mode.
Throttle hold. Same thing on the right side. And forward, nothing happens, because I think if you're going forward, it's just your steady state, or there's no indication needed to go forward. However, if you go pull back on the elevator, both go off, kind of like brake lights. So somebody behind you can tell that you're going to be slowing down because you're pulling back on the elevator. No indication for yaw as far as I can tell. But this is pretty cool. It's and the battery status is kind of neat. You could put one technically in front of the camera, and I think I saw a video where somebody put a set of lights right in front of the FPV camera, and low battery starts flashing, so that way he knows without needing an OSD. But I already have an OSD, so I don't need that. But that is pretty cool. So yeah, next time I'm going to split it down the middle, do it as a Y, and only have 4 bulbs, 4 LEDs, even though I'm going to have 8 of them. So I just need to assign 4 of them. Pretty sure that'll work. Oh, BL Heli is doing its beep for 2 minutes. It's being idle. Kind of cool, lost model alarm, basically. If it's idle for 2 minutes, it starts beeping. Alright, here's the power distribution board. It's a good thing I happen to have this in there, because if I didn't, I'd have to use some kind of diode or something to bring that voltage down, assuming that something else would give me a voltage of about 5 volts, or even 4.8. You'd have to bring it down in order for the LEDs to work, for the signal to work. So here's the 2 BECs. There's the little pot, see that? there's one there, and there's one there. So you stick a screwdriver in there, and then you just turn it, and all of a sudden, between like 12 and 5, it's like a quarter turn. Ridiculous. You know, I may be exaggerating, maybe 2/3 of a turn, but really it's just crazy how little you turn it. So I set it, and then I had put some welder glue in there so that it wouldn't change. But you know, you could do 12 volts, 5 volts like I did, or you could even do like 4.3 and 6 volts if you want to operate servos on 6 volts or something, or just you could even have it at 4.8 and 4.8 and have one of them drive the LEDs and one of them drive the flight controller and everything else, and that way you have a little backup in case one of these fails. But they seem pretty solid to me, so too bad there's no mounting holes in there. So I think this is a good luck buy. It's like $7 or $8, but and it's not, I don't know what the weight is. You can go look up the specs, but it's not too bad. Considering what it say, you save a BEC and a 12 volt step down. So it works pretty well, as you can see, and I've been flying. I put at least 4 good flights on it, hard flights. So the LEDs will be pretty cool. So that is it. That's awesome. I love the way cleanflight you can set these up, and I'm hoping there's more functions, because I wouldn't mind pulling up on the elevator and having go red or something instead of, you know, going from red to orange or whatever. The flashing seems to be just orange. I don't know if I can change that, but I haven't really played with it too much. But there you go. Awesome. Thanks for watching.